Welcome, welcome. So glad you're all here today. We are in the middle of the most gorgeous spring I can remember here in the Pacific Northwest. And to celebrate that, why don't we have some wonderful music? So take it away, why don't we stand?
Yeah, if you can stand with us, we'll sing out into this day together. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind staying on Spirit. Walking and talking with my mind staying on Spirit. Oh yes, we're walking and talking my mind staying on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You can't blame your neighbor. No, you can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on Spirit. You can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on Spirit. You can't blame your neighbor with your mind staying on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind staying on Spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, take a little few seconds, more than a few seconds out there to greet some of those lovely faces out there. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and soul is welcome here. My 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 soul is welcome here.
You may want to.
So before we invite the kiddos up, Dr. Andrea has an announcement.
I do. So this, of course, is Mother's Day, in case you missed all the incredible flower announcements and things in your email box. And every year I do some sort of appreciation. And I wanted to invite anyone who identifies as a mother, who's served as a mother figure, regardless of gender, to come up and line up here. And I have brought, this is a very ancient Turkish rose essence, and I'm going to anoint the moms and the mother figures. But if you don't want rose on you, just put your hand over your heart and I'll understand. So come on up, anyone who identifies as a mama, regardless of gender. Yeah, maybe so. How about if we have a second row up here? Come on up.
I like it up here. I'm tall.
Why not? Yeah. Second row up front. Come on up. Come on up. Barb, yeah. But would you like to come up? Deb, you want to come up too? Okay. Great. Great. Come on up. I'll come down and you can go up if you want. All right. So, wow. Look at these beautiful people. It's amazing. I just want to say that, you know, one of the essences of serving as a mother, whether you're a mother for a child of your body, a child of your heart, or even furry children, there's some devotion required of that. And so for those of you who aren't standing up here because maybe you didn't identify quite with what's happening here, I have a feeling devotion is a part of your experience as well. And I honor that in you as we anoint the mamas. So remember, if you don't want rose, and just, there you go, there you go, there you go. I'll come up there, you guys. I'm not sure how to get there. Thank you. Yeah. Good morning. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Yes, welcome. Yes. Welcome. Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Would you like a little? Would you like some? Not so much. Welcome. Hello. Fairly large. Yes. Yes. Now, those of you who have already been anointed, you can sit down while I get the top row there. Oh, there we go. I don't know if all of them can do that. Mama. It's okay. You can stay up there. It's all right. Don't fall down. That would be a sucky mama's day. There we go.
Me next.
Hey.
Thanks, babe. Oh, I'm
Thank you. Best aunt ever. A lot of sweetness in this room. All right, we're going to invite our children up, and we're going to sing them out to their wonderful experience today with Lily and Joe. So kids, come on up.
Our small but mighty crew of kiddos, they get to go out and enjoy the sunshine while we all are
Yeah.
in here for the message today. All right, let's sing Hooray for the World together. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. We got Mother Nature and the human race.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea Wood, and I'm the practitioner this morning, as is Deb Dole. And I want to give you a heartfelt welcome, and I wanted to remind everyone that on the back table, on the way to the classroom, there is a prayer vessel. And one of the things that the practitioners are honored to do for you is to be in prayer for you and with you. So if anyone has a prayer request, there are prayer slips back there. You can place them in the vessel, and we will pray with you. So I'd like to invite you to join me in prayer. So know with me as I know, there is one power, one presence, one vast, unlimited source of light. This one is indwelling in all beings everywhere. This source is at my center and at my circumference, always imbuing, always supporting my being with light, with love. And this inner light lives within me. It illumines my way as I walk my sacred journey through this earth. As this is true for me, it is true for all. And this light shines forth, showing me my way, imbuing me with wisdom, with safety, with deep insight, and is reflected back to me with a heart full of love. Truly all is well. So I give great gratitude for this spiritual center, for this spiritual community, as we walk this path. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without, my divinity, as within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's error, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. All of me designed to perfection, all of me beautiful and sacred, all of me a wonder, expression of the infinite, all of me pure light divine. All of me designed to perfection, all of me beautiful and sacred, all of me a wonder, expression of the infinite, all of me pure light divine. All is love, all is light, all is love, all is light, all is love, all is light, all of me pure light divine. All is love, all is love, all is light, all is love, all is light, all is love, all is light, all of me pure light divine, of me pure light divine. Let's sing All Is Love, just our voices, let's lift them. Is love, all is light, all is love, all is light, all is love, all is light. All of me, pure light divine. All of me, pure light divine. Sing that to yourself. All of me, pure light divine. All of me, pure light divine. All of me, pure light. All of me, pure light divine. All is love, all is light, all is love, all is light. Beautiful. All is love, all is light. All of me, pure light divine. All of me, pure light divine.
Thank you. Good stuff. So we are operating in a yearly theme that is your soul's journey. And our monthly theme is the inner arc of discovery. And I wanted to talk about the inner arc of discovery today. But let me talk a little bit first about soul, because it's such an interesting word and confusing sometimes, because it's like, well, what exactly does that mean? And especially in our tradition, there's more than one meaning. And so the practitioners have just had to kind of go, well, okay, if we're talking about it over here, it means this. And if we're talking about it over there, it means that. And so we have to be clear. So in the larger picture of what we see as reality, we believe that there's a universal soul. And that's the presence of the divine within each person expressing. And it's a particular aspect of the divine, this soul that is universal. And the aspect is that part of the divine that creates out of itself. It just creates and it creates and it creates and it creates, and it creates out of the other aspect of the divine, which is love. So all is love, right? And so love points the way, and soul, universal soul, makes that happen. It's just a generating, beautiful law. But then there's the individual soul. And the individual soul is part of this larger happening of love and law going on. And the individual soul, as it's expressed through you and through me, has a very particular path, a journey that it's taking us on. And it is creating, just like the universal soul, but creating out of our deeply held ideas and beliefs and understandings. And so this inner arc of discovery is part of how change in our lives happens. And it's necessary for it to happen, change, you may have noticed. The whole system is set up so that things change all the time. And most of us, I know I'm not alone in this, most of us like some of the change, but not all of it. Not all of it at all. Things that take us out of our comfort zone, things that create loss in our lives, things that are changing without us saying it's okay. Those are the ones that are more difficult. And yet, in every case, they are part of an inner arc that's happening in our direct experience of discovery. And so what I brought to you today, and I'm going to have my person put up on the screen. Thank you, Renee. You may recognize this if you're like me and you're a fan of Joseph Campbell. You may not know that when I was learning to be a marriage and family therapist, the dean of my whole program, who taught many of the classes, was a Jungian psychologist. And so I was imbued with the understanding that also brought Joseph Campbell's work into view. So this is the very familiar to many of us hero's journey. And we could say the heroine's journey as well. And I wanted to talk about this today because it speaks to your and my inner arc of discovery, in a sense. And it sort of packages it in a way that maybe you can see into your own life up until now, and possibly what's happening now, to understand the process that your soul is actually bringing you to, this arc of discovery inwardly. So, it always starts in your ordinary life, and you're just doing your normal stuff, and all of a sudden, either inwardly or outwardly, something knocks you upside the head and calls you to do something else. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's wonderful. That was the call to ministry for me. It was great. But sometimes it doesn't feel great right at first because you're used to being ordinary. And you like it. And so all of a sudden there's a call. And I'm thinking specifically of a couple of characters that you may know about, just to illustrate. So you may be familiar with the story of Jonah and the whale. And Jonah was called by Spirit to go across the water and talk to the people that had lost their way and were doing all kinds of yucky things, talk to them about coming back to their goodness. Well, Jonah was like, oh, no, not me, no. So what he did is he got on a ship. And he was like, I am so out of here. I am not doing that. And so he got on the ship. And Spirit was like, oh, you think you can hide? Seriously? And so a huge storm came up. And in those days, of course, storms were divine occurrences, and they weren't happy ones. And so everyone on the ship was like, okay, whose fault is this? And they finally figured out Jonah was pretending to be asleep down below. And they finally figured out it had to be him. And so they threw him overboard. It's like, oh, no, we're not all dying because of you, dude. And so they threw him overboard, and he was swallowed, in some translations, by a big fish, by a whale, because Spirit was like, oh, no, he's not going to drown. We're going to catch him. And the fish vomited him out, lovely image, onto the shore of the people he was supposed to preach to. So there's that. There's another figure in history that is fascinating to me, and her name is Joan of Arc. She was not very old. She was like 16 when she got the call because her people were fighting, and she got the call that if she didn't help, they would lose. And so she became this galvanizing force. And she had the voice of Spirit talking to her and telling her what to do, which was great. So she answered the call and she was doing the thing, and then people got freaked out because it was working. And ultimately she was burned at the stake for listening to the voice of Spirit, which they said was the devil. So the call can go AC/DC. And this is the problem with being called, is we all know these stories. And yet, what every single one of us, in one way or another, will have happen is we will be called to change. We will. And the reason I chose to talk about it this way is because parenthood is one of those places. I'm looking at you in the back there with the baby on the front and all of the wonderful kids that are here. Parenthood is like you go from being ordinary to all of a sudden being expected to be extraordinary in one event. Took 9 months to get there for most of us, but the change, we thought we were prepared. We thought we knew what that would mean, but if it's our first kid, oh no. How many parents had that experience like me? Oh no, not prepared at all. As far as I got was Lamaze breathing, and nobody said that I was going to need to use that for the rest of my life. Yeah, parenthood, in my view, I actually wrote for my ministerial thesis, parenthood as a spiritual practice, because it is, or it can be. So one of the things about the hero's journey is that the call takes us from the known into the unknown. And as soon as we walk into the unknown, all of a sudden challenges and temptations are present. And fortunately, at the same moment that those challenges and temptations come along, we have helpers and mentors that show up at perfect, wonderful moments usually that help us with those challenges and temptations. What would a challenge be in midlife? Because that's another point where we're called to do something else. Often you hear about midlife crisis. David White tells a story about opening the London Gazette, and in the ads for sale, there was a red Vespa, and the line read in the sale, "Ridden for 6 weeks during midlife crisis." So lots of things happen in that time as well, and whether it's moving out from your parents' home, or having children, or needing to answer a call sometime in your life, or the midlife where all of a sudden you hear yourself going, is this all there is? Or a lot of us went through 9/11, and it was an outer experience that really asked us to look at ourselves. Are we living the life we want to be living? And on it goes, all through our life. This inner arc of questioning and discovery is operating. And the challenges and the temptations for each of those events in our own personal life are going to show up. And I guess I wanted you to know that because it's not abnormal. It's okay. And thank God there are mentors and helpers along the way. I was thinking specifically about our parents, because more and more parents are coming, and I'm so delighted. And because I'm a parent and a grandparent, I remember when I had 3 kids, I was going to the grocery store, don't ask me why, with all 3. So I had one on my back in a backpack, I had one in my front, and I had one in the seat in the cart. And as long as they were all happy, we were good. So we started happy. And so I'm loading the cart as fast as I can with stuff, and all of a sudden, one of them started to freak out. And when one freaked out, they all freaked out. And so I remember breaking out in a sweat, taking the cart to the front, catching the manager and saying, "I'm so sorry, I have to leave." And the manager looking at me for a minute and going, "Thank you." Because one kid will set off all the kids, you know. So there are moments when we can be our own helper in these inner arcs of discovery by realizing this is part of the spiritual path. The challenges that I'm facing are asking me to transform the way I've been. And in every stage of life, this inner working of the soul is constantly asking for transformation from us. And the problem with sacred humans, I can only speak for myself and my experience with other sacred humans, we don't like change. we know we have to, but we don't like it sometimes. And so spirit in there, the soul that's like taking our deeply held ideas and thoughts and our transformations and going, okay, we need to change. It's in there working, and we're like, no, 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 I like it where I am. Please, no, no, no. And it doesn't work. So we can go happy, or we can go with resistance, but we will go. We will change. And it's important to realize, for me anyway, that change is a necessity at every stage of life. Children have no resistance. They're just like, okay, this is the deal. Okay, I was a blob, and now I'm crawling, and then I'm going to walk, and then I'm going to start talking, and then I'm going to start crying a lot more because I want what I want. You know, they're just in it. But at some point we stop that and stop the process. So what always happens in this inner arc is what Campbell calls the abyss. And usually there's more than one. And there's different stages where we come to a revelation that the way we've been doing things simply cannot continue. We have to do something else. And it's not always negative, but a lot of times it is because of the resistance piece, right? But a lot of times if we're willing to kind of go, oh, that's right, I can't keep doing it this way, then revelation is what begins to happen. And we begin to see a way forward that wasn't clear to us on that side of the chart. But in the abyss, all of a sudden we're like, oh, I have to do something different. And that's when true, real transformation, the kind that's lifelong change, can occur. You'll see here that he has atonement in this model. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly had to apologize to my kids from time to time about different things. I remember lots of times when I wasn't living my best self when I was parenting them. And in recovery, if any of you are experienced in recovery, you know that atonement is part of the journey, that doing your steps and doing the work involves this willingness to be forgiven and forgive self and others. And so atonement is an important part. It is the release part that lets us then go to the next part of our discovery process. And so it can't be underestimated in terms of forgiveness work. So, you know, all the moms came up here, and that was really great. But, you know, we all know people, and maybe some of you are those people, whose moms weren't that great. They were pretty awful, some of them. And maybe it was not intentional. Maybe we can, with distance and looking back, kind of go, okay, they were doing the best they knew how. But what I found out is that I couldn't just say that. I had to actually live that through forgiveness work. And I don't know if you're there, but it's an important piece, not only with moms, but dads and other people in our life, so that we can be free with the full transformation that we're carrying now. Because what that transformation is in the inner arc of discovery is the next gift that you carry to bring to others. And it's blocked if we're held back with a lack of forgiveness. And so practicing forgiveness allows the gift its full range of expression. And what are those gifts? Well, it depends on where you are in your life. And it depends on the situations you find yourself in, but we all carry them because we've all been doing this cycle one way or another. I remember early on in my parenthood, there were parents that had had 3 children that now had survived long enough that they could turn to me and say, it's going to be okay, it's going to get easier, this is what I did. And it was like being seen and receiving the gift of what their learning had brought to them so that I could manage myself and these critters to the point where then I could then turn the gift to someone else. there are many, many mentors in this community, people who have passed through different things and have gifts that they carry, that they're constantly offering, not only in the community here, but in the larger circle of their expression. So the gifts are critical, I believe, not only to helping all of us integrate the challenges and the temptations that are coming our way as we move with the call, but you know, what I think is happening in the world in part is that we didn't know we were supposed to do that exactly. And during COVID, we couldn't always do that. And the world is suffering. Every single teacher, are there any teachers in the room? Yes. Every single teacher that I know, and I have a daughter who's a teacher, has reported to me that the children are different who were in lockdown with COVID. That they weren't socialized in the same way. Some of them not at all. They were plugged into screens, and their attention span, it isn't there. You know, actually, I could be speaking about some of the adults here too. Just saying. So the gifts that we carry actually are critically important at this time when we're all kind of moving out of this sort of locked in, locked down, careful, safety-conscious place. We have gifts to share that will help people transition and transform from being frightened, fearful, and not necessarily, I want to say this gracefully because as a parent, if I was in that situation with those 3 little girls, there were, if we had had screens, they would have had them. So it's not bad or wrong. It's just like, okay, how do we help the children? And how do we help the parents? And how do we help each other move in a world that has so many challenges and so many temptations and so many opportunities to fall into abyss and not know how to get out of it? You know, how do we bring the gifts that we have? And it's a great question. I don't have an answer for you. But what I'm doing today is I'm doing that. I'm giving you the gift of my awareness. And it's such a privileged place to stand, to be able to share with you these thoughts and ideas and actually have you nod and think it's good. Well, thank you. So what ultimately happened to Jonah is that eventually, you know, he couldn't not answer the call. He was spit up on the shores. He crawled up to a hill. He basically pouted, you know. He basically was like, not doing it. And Spirit grew a giant vine that shaded him. And when that happened, he was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And he began that work. I don't think we need to wait. I don't think we need to be vomited up anywhere. I think instead what we can understand is that we really are on a journey. Our soul is bringing us into a greater and greater revelation, a greater and greater transformation. And all along the way, we have opportunities to say, yes. So your assignment is something will happen in this next week that is going to ask you to say yes to something that you normally might not. And I'm going to ask you to say yes, unless it's something really yucky. But, you know, if someone says, you want to go do this, say yes. If someone says, can you help me with this, say yes. You might say, I don't know how to do that, but sure, I'll help you. If someone has a baby and needs help, say yes, right? And in that way, the gifts are being bestowed and your awakening is happening all at the same time. It's the law of circulation. As you give, you receive. So I'll do a prayer for this, and we'll get into the announcements and bidding and then into this glorious day. So please know with me, as I know for myself, There is a deep, abiding presence, a divine energy that is constantly seeking to create, out of my deeply held understanding, a more and more beautiful, open life. Its whole goal is evolution and growth, transformation. And because this is always operating, I now accept that transformation is here for me and for anyone listening. So I open my mind and my heart and listen deeply to what is being asked of me. I listen for different calls to journey out of my comfort and into my own awakening. And as I listen, it becomes evident what to do and what not to do. And I follow that guidance, allowing the helpers and the mentors to walk with me and talk with me and be with me as this transformation unfolds. And I'm grateful that this whole thing is wired this way. I'm grateful for the growth, for the evolution, for the awakening. And I say yes to it. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our ushers today, Shelley and Steve, are going to come on up with, oh, look at the baby. Oh, whoa, whoa. So, love it. So thank you for your donations to our center. It allows us to do things that we like to do. Oh, and the baby's being helped. So the baskets are coming. Enjoy.
I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All of my life, all of my life, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yes, all of my life, I'm gonna let it shine. All of my life, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light, let's sing it out. Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Ooh.
All right, have a seat, and I'll tell you a little bit about what's happening because there's some pretty cool stuff going on. The first one is this, except journey is misspelled. We'll have to fix that. Oh well. Perfection-free zone. So for years, I was called to create a series of classes that were for people that had taken all the accredited classes more than once, some of us many, many times. And so I started calling it the Inward Journey. And I waited and I waited to be able to do this 4-course inward journey thing. And this was the year I finally got to launch it. And my idea was not to be the only teacher, but to involve other teachers that we have here in bringing material that was more of a upper division kind of class to those who had had 2 accredited classes. And so we started offering the Inward Journey. And I was first with Heidi, Ruth. And this next module is the second module of the 4. And you don't have to have had the first to do the second, but you do have to have 2 accredited classes. And if you're not sure if you do, you can call the office. So it starts this coming week on Thursday, the 18th, from 6 to 8:30. It is an integrated offering, meaning that there's a Zoom option as well as an in-person option. We'll be in the classroom. And the teachers for this module are incredible. They've worked really hard on this. And they're using an amazing book. It's called Mastering Life's Energies by Maria Nemeth. It's an old book, so it's not very expensive, but it is absolutely life-transforming. We actually use it in the practitioner class because it's so rich with so many different concepts and practices. So I'm inviting you to really consider signing up for this and being part of it. They're only 5 weeks long. And so I did that on purpose because I like short classes. How about you? I don't like 10-week classes. I like the short ones. So the thing is, you have to register by tomorrow. And so I wanted to make sure you knew about it. And if you qualify for it, I really encourage you to do it. So there it is. And here we go. All right, where are my people with the aprons and the signs? If you're just joining us today, we are in the middle of what's called Gourmets for Good. And it's an incredible and fun thing that we do once a year. A whole bunch of us say that we'll create some sort of dinner or lunch or picnic or whatever, and then people bid for a place at the table. So this is the second week of the 3 weeks of bidding. So next week is the last week. And whoever bids the highest wins a seat at the table. So if you are a new bidder, you need a bid number so that you can go into the classroom, look at all the dinners, take your phone if it has a calendar in it, and bid for some of these incredible offerings. So the bid numbers you can get outside with the coffee. Oh no, they're right in here, thank you. So right back in the back here, you can get a brand new bid number if you're new. If you're not new to bidding and you forget your number, there's a different way to find that. And that's also there, we've comboed it. What I want you to know is that next week is usually pretty wild. Like, kind of beat people back with a stick because they want to get that dinner. So if you're thinking about bidding and you don't have a number yet, you might want to get it now because next week, the people that are at the table giving out new bid numbers, they want to bid. And so they're going to close the table 15 minutes before the close of the bidding. So bid high, bid often, and be sure, even if you're not sure if you want any of these, to go look at them because there's some really amazing offerings for just about any sacred human. So we hope you'll bid. Thank you. All right, thanks, guys. Sandy and Susan are our chairwomen. Now, we have 7 people signed up to help next week with an ivy removal work party that is part of the Whatcom Million Trees project here in Whatcom County. And you know that carbon sequestration is super important to reducing climate change. And so a lot of us are busy planting trees and paying people who plant trees and things like that. But another avenue that's actually even more effective than planting new growth is to save the mature trees. And in our area, English ivy kills them. I can tell you from personal experience, when we bought our house, every single Douglas fir, and we have a bunch of them on our property, was completely covered with ivy. No one had taken care of it for years and years and years, and we actually had to ask Dan Dietrich, who's a tree climber, to come and remove the ivy, strip it. And the trees all still have the markings of that ivy that was sapping them, but they're free now to sequester carbon and not be killed. And that's what we're going to be doing on the 21st from 12:30 to 3 with the Whatcom Million Trees Project folks, is we're going to be stripping ivy, and it's not as hard as it looks. None of us have to climb trees, thank God. An easier way to do it is simply to cut the ivy at the bottom and start stripping it, and it'll die. And so they have all the equipment. All we need to do is bring gloves. But what we're hoping for is we're hoping for 15 people, and right now we only have 7 signed up. Even if you can't do 12:30 to 3, if you can come for part of it, we'd really appreciate you coming. And we're in tandem with a group of other faith traditions. So people from other churches are coming, synagogues and the like, to help us with this project. It's down in Fairhaven in the 100-acre wood, and we have a map at the Ask Me desk so you can see exactly where to park. And so we'd love you in the back of the room to sign up for that and be part of helping the earth. So that's that. Women's Circle is also next Sunday. And so I am part of the Women's Circle, so I'll be attending and leaving a little bit early to go and help with the ivy removal. This is our last one of the season, and so whether it be your first time or you've been coming regularly, I encourage you to come. It's our grand farewell for the summer, and we'll start back in September. And then every year I offer a summer arts and crafts kind of class, and I'm a soul collage facilitator, and it's a Jungian practice, and it's very revealing, and I decided to actually be Jungian with the people that sign up for this class. So that's actually a warning, because what we're going to be working with is gifts and wounds. And so we'll be creating soul collage cards for 3 weeks. You can sign up for 1 class, 2 classes, or you get a discount if you do all 3. And is there a sign-up sheet? Oh, there's a sign-up sheet at the Ask Me desk for that as well. So we'd love you. If this is of interest to you, you can talk to me after if you want to know more, or you can sign up and find out when you come. It's really special. How many of you have done soul collage with me? Yeah, you can talk to any of these people too, and they'll tell you their experience. Okay, so that's it for today. Why don't we stand and we'll sing our way into bidding and coffee and this beauty.
Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the good. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the light. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the peace. Today I'm finding gratitude for all that's right. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the love. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the grace. Today and every day I'm gonna dwell upon the joy. Today I'm seeing God in each and every face. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. What we dwell upon, we become. So let's dwell upon the good. Yeah, let's dwell upon the good. You all have a wonderful week. Enjoy this sunshine. Happy Mother's Day.